this episode of Impact Mindset. I'm your host, Fon. These episodes I describe as tidbits, where I give 5-10 minutes tidbits on some key elements in business, entrepreneurship, and transformation. I want to share some perspectives regarding business plans and business models. What's the difference, and which would you consider doing, and at what stage in your business? Most often, the argument is always made: should I go for a business plan or should I choose a business model? I believe it's an argument that need not be had, because both of them do offer specific advantages and specific uses at every stage in the business. You might need a business model to start in establishing the concept and establishing the foundation to begin a business, and you could actually also use a business model at even at the startup stage or even at the mature stage. No matter what stage of the business you are at, you can always use a business model to sort of redefine the direction you're going, or sort of redefine the approach of the products or specific services that you are offering. And so a business model is not limited only to the start of the business. It could be at every stage of the business. And same could be said also of a business plan. And a business plan could be at the start of the business, could also be in the life of the business, and sort of going back, looking at it, and ensuring that the goals that you have set and the mission that you have set, you are actually still going on with it. So what are major differences between both? And so when you're getting ready to start the business, you would want to create as solid a foundation as you can. And that involves planning, effective training. And you might have heard, of course, that you might want to start with a sound business plan or a business model. And the question is, how different are they from one another? Are they the same? Are they similar? A business model is a blueprint for the business, and it helps you outline how you're going to run the business and how you're going to generate revenue. There are at least 5 key elements of a business model. Take note that the business model, or the key elements of a business model, is not limited just to one system of business model, because you have different approaches to business models. The most famous, of course, is a business model canvas, and that's the most common. But in every model of a business model, there are at least 5 key elements that constitute the approach that is used to address the specific issue you want to address, whether or not it's to redefine the business model as a whole, or to present a new product or a new service to the market. So the first key element in the business model is what is described as the business concept. And that's crucial to start with. The business concept is a short description of the specific opportunity or the specific product that you are bringing to the market. It includes a description of the typical customer, the benefits of a product or service to the customer, and the way you are going to get your product and services to the customer. So the business concept thus establishes what is your vision that you are bringing to the marketplace, whether or not it's related to the product or service. The second is what could be described as value chain position. This is a bit different from value proposition. A value chain position simply means your business position on the chain of activities through which products and services get to the end user. So actually, you could describe it as a value chain, kind of like a value chain analysis, more or less, to understand in what position your product is in the chain of activities. The third is having a good understanding of the customer value. It is in this that you would describe it as a value proposition. So what is the value that your typical customer will receive by purchasing your product or service or interacting with your brand. So it's really an estimate of the value of the tangible benefits your typical customer will receive. The fourth is defining the revenue sources and cost drivers. In this, you need to identify the various sources of revenue and the activities you would conduct in actually achieving that. And all of that comes at the costs. The activities that you need to perform, that comes at the costs. And that, of course, constitutes your cost drivers. So the important exercise at this stage is to estimate what are the key revenue sources and the cost drivers. The 5 is establishing how you would compete in the marketplace. So the competitive advantage. The competitive advantage is a state when customers perceive your products or services to be superior to that of your competition. And that could be a perception, it could be real, but the idea is really the kind of value that you are giving to your customers would lead them to definitely consider your product as superior in the marketplace. Now, there is great competitive advantage of Apple products over all Android products, but it doesn't mean that it's superior. It's simply market perception, which has been built over nearly 2 decades. So what's the difference between the business model? We have established the 5 key elements that constitutes a business model. But then how is that compared to a business plan? Where a business model is a blueprint, kind of like a snapshot of where you are going, a business plan is a roadmap. A business plan is a formal written document that includes a description of the business concept, your business goals, and the plan for achieving those goals. So you might say that a business plan actually includes a business model. And a business plan is, of course, detailed. That's why it could include the business model, because a business model, as I said, is a blueprint, and a business plan is a roadmap. So it is a detailed document that contains, well, the marketing plan, the startup expenses, capitalization, management and organization, products and services, and operational plan. And so it's usually developed around providing the response to 3 key questions. The first is, where are we now? Where do we want to be? How are we going to get there? Those are the 3 questions that are responded to in a typical business plan. So it is an extensive document, and it's usually written for 5 key reasons. The first is to test the feasibility of the business idea and to address some of the challenges that might bring in the marketplace. The second is to develop strategies for marketing, finance, operation, human resources, and all the key elements that would occur when you kick off. The third is to obtain funding, for example, a bank loan, to attract investors, or to have a roadmap to follow for at least the first year in business. So those are some of the 5 key reasons you would want to develop a business plan. And so the question is not whether or not it's a business plan or whether or not it's a business model. The question is at what stage of the business you are at in order to design this. My recommendation always is that you start off with a business model to establish the business concept, to have a good understanding of all the 5 key elements. And as you build up the business, if you need to obtain loans and you need to obtain investors or to work with investors, then you can develop a business plan, because then you actually have the information you need in order to actually go forward within the next 3 years. I really would not recommend someone doing a business plan in the first year of a business, because there are a lot of elements within it that still needs to be concretized and tested out. And so always start with the business model. So it's not about right or wrong. It's really about which do you start with. I do hope you enjoyed this tidbit. And next week we'll definitely be continuing with some interviews. Do have a great day. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to Impact Mindset, where we build a community of relentless entrepreneurs. I hope you enjoyed the show. Stay informed and visit our website on impactmindset.com and follow me on Facebook and Instagram at FonBruno15, on Twitter and LinkedIn at FonBruno. If you are interested in private coaching and courses on startup strategy, ideation and concept development, contact me via podcast at impactmindset.com or visit my website at fonbruno.com.